Welcome back to another episode of the Experts in Fire podcast. I'm your host, Mike Vennard, and with me today is Randy Mowry. Today's episode is Embracing Energy Efficiency in Fireplaces. Let's get into it. Hey, Randy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great today, Mike. How are you over there, sir?
You know what? I'm well. I'm getting over the what we call the cooties in my house. So it seems it's funny. I saw the doctor the other day. He was cool. I said, man, you just saw my daughter last week. He said, it sounds like you guys have a warm, caring, and loving household, and you're sharing everything. I was like, yeah, it's about what we do.
Exactly. Yep. Pass one person to the next. I hear you there. Well, glad you're on the back end of that.
I agree. I appreciate that. But still had some great start to the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I know we missed that, I think, in our last episode. But I am thankful for you, Mr. Mowry, and the work that you do with us here on the podcast. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm thankful for everybody that we work with. Everybody on our staff does an amazing job. So very thankful to have such great team members.
So today we're going to be talking about embracing energy efficiency in fireplaces. And there's a million ways we can go, but we've kind of got a path laid out that we're going to walk for our listeners here. And it's something that is in the limelight, that people are talking about. It's important for the environment. It's important for all of us just to take a step back, because at the age we're at, Randy, we can look back in time to the 70s, the 80s, and look around and go, there was a lot of wastefulness, there was a lot of mismanagement. And now as a country and as a world, we're all taking a look at, whoa, we need to clean some things up here, people. And in our industry, they have grabbed a hold of that as well. We talk to engineers, we talk to very high-level folks who are concerned about our industry because there are ways through technology that we can achieve efficiency goals. So we just thought, man, let's take a minute and let's talk about what the industry is doing. And we're going to kind of highlight through some of them and then really hone in on one section. But Randy, first question right off the bat here. What is energy efficiency?
Well, energy efficiency just means it's eliminating energy waste, I should say, using less of something. If you think about the light bulb itself, think of LED light over an incandescent light, produces the same amount of light, but uses about 75% less energy. And that number could be skewed. I'm not a light bulb expert, but we all know we have LEDs everywhere these days, compared to back in the day, like you were talking about, where, everybody's using incandescent bulbs. So it is just that, Mike. It's just using and getting the same amount out of a product, but using less energy to supply it.
I remember a time, Randy, when I knew exactly where the light bulbs were. It was a part of the list, the shopping list, right? Hey, add light bulbs to the shopping list, and then you would go buy the big pack of 60 watts or 100 watts or 75 watts, and you would wait for that pop, and then you knew, okay, I got to change it. Now, I don't even know where my extra lights are because everything's LED. It just goes. So that makes perfect sense. I love the example. They just do what they're supposed to do for a way longer time and with way less energy output. Same result.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're working toward energy efficiency. Let's real fast kind of buzz through. In our industry, we talk about wood, we talk about gas, and then we talk about electric. So let's kind of compare the three of those. How efficient is wood burning?
Yeah, so and it's a good point because, this conversation could go on for hours, actually, probably, if we covered them all at one time. Wood burning, think about, wood burning fireplaces, like at my parents' house, for example, is just you have a hole in the wall, you have a chimney that goes up to your house, and you burn wood in it. Now, that there's no efficiency to it. The heat, most of your heat, I don't know, we'll say 80, 90+% of it's just going right up the chimney. You might get a little bit of that radiant heat coming off of that flame inside that living space. I remember at my house, my old house, you get that fire going, it looks awesome, but boy, you're wearing a sweater because it's really not heating very much, right? And then, then they wood stoves, then they, created wood stoves now to be able to trap some of that heat and actually benefit from some of that heat, whether it was a freestanding and, getting that radiant heat off of the chassis that you're burning in that freestanding stove, or an insert that would go into our masonry fireplaces and, and have the blower pushing that heat out into the living space, So the efficiencies are starting, obviously are increasing, and, we have some much higher efficiency wood burning appliances these days, the freestanding stoves, like, and then the inserts and things like that when it comes to wood burning, Mike.
Wood burning is the rawest to nature of producing heat, right? You think about, I need to survive out in the wild. I build a fire because I need that heat, right? I'm gonna burn wood. In terms of efficiency, it's the lowest out of the three: wood burning, gas burning, and electric. So when we move from wood burning to gas burning, we still have a fuel source, right? Like with wood burning, wood is your fuel, but you still have a fuel source. You still need oxygen. You still need ignition when it comes to gas. How good have they gotten with gas burning efficiency?
Yeah, and gas has come a long ways, compared to back in the day too. Like think about gas logs. We do a lot of gas logs, of course. Your traditional vented gas logs was a transition. Somebody was just tired of burning wood. They put a gas log in their vented fireplace. It's a vented gas log set. And it was kind of the same thing. It was like, considered like a more of a decorative appliance. It's not a heating source. And they've gotten better with those, of course. So you can get like radiant vented gas log sets for them. You can move into a high efficiency ventless gas log set. And then, but as far as fireplaces now, you have your direct vents, which is a sealed system, pulls all of its oxygen from outside, exhausts the flue gases to the outside. So it's a sealed system, doesn't mess with the envelope of the house, meaning, like a open fire wood burning fireplace would. When you kind of look at the wood, the gas obviously is much more efficient, and you could be some of them 70 to 80 ventless, 99.9% efficient when it comes to gas as far as an efficiency rating. So they've obviously come a long ways, and there's a lot of different options there as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about gas burning, you can go from all the heat goes straight up the chimney to an enclosed system to all of the heat comes into the room. So they've got quite a few options. Yeah, quite a few options inside of the gas space, which we sell a lot of. I mean, there are still an aesthetic to gas and burning, an actual flame. There will always be the same thing with wood. But what we really wanted to hone in on is an area where we see of the highest level of efficiency, and that is electric fireplaces.
Yes, electric fireplaces. When you're considering electric, they're considered to be 100% energy efficient when you compare it to gas and wood that fall into that. We're gonna say that 70% to up to 99.9 if you're using a ventless log set. On those appliances, electric being 100%. I mean, and the whole thing with the electric is there's no chimney, there's no emissions. We don't have the hole in the house. We're not using any gas and or wood. It's merely electric, and then using LED flames.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally you plug it in and then it makes heat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the kind of the other part of it for folks that are looking to put, something nice fire in their house with the electrics. They're easy to install in most cases. There might be a little bit of construction if you're doing built-ins. Like for example, at my house, I have 4 electric fireplaces at my house. Some of them are built-in, some of them are just wall mount. And at one time, I even had like a freestanding TV type of console unit. So they're easy to operate, Mike. And I think that's one of the other, aside from the energy efficiency, it's just the ease of use and installation. I think that is also really driving a lot of this as well.
You have fire-related questions and we have answers. You can email us your questions at podcast@woodlanddirect.com or give us a call at 833-584-1989. We would love to be able to answer them right here on the Experts in Fire podcast.
Well, you stop and you look at it, and I think I walked our listeners through some of the install aspects. We put in a nice linear electric at our old house, and it was, number one, it was a fun project. If you're into projects like that, it was a super fun project to do with me and the family. But it was something that I'm trying to come up with the best comparison. So if you wanted to picture electric heat back in the day, you would see hanging on the walls kind of like a radiator with the little grates in there, and you would plug it in or you would turn it on and they would glow orange. And then there was a grate over top, so you couldn't touch them. It was very industrial, very, just kind of, you put it in a garage, you did something like that. Sometimes they made them for the inside the house. That's what we're talking about when you're talking about electric heat, but it is hidden inside of what I say is some of the most groundbreaking technology when it comes to the hearth industry. The view of an electric fireplace has gone from a hamster wheel spinning. Remember, you could hear the thing spinning.
Yes. Yes. You hear like tick 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 tick. It was like hitting a little clicker.
Yeah, well, it was like having your bike and you put the card in the right.
You put the card in the spokes.
And I remember looking at those, Randy, going, we were all in the room together when the sales rep came in, and we were looking at this thing and we were like, no, nobody's going to buy that. And the industry as a whole took a look at that and said, we got to make this better. And there are some players out there that we do a lot of business. Matter of fact, the CEO of one of our key partners over at Modern Flames, he sent me a picture of one of their old units. And he's like, how in the world did we ever sell these back in the day? And I'm like, you have an awesome personality, Chris. It's just, you're an awesome guy. So true, though. So true. And so you have the efficiency of electric. You have the ability, the ease of electric, and its simplicity, but you have the ambiance. And I think that's one of the key factors that has really helped lift electric fireplaces over the last, 3 to 4 years, I think, Randy, we've seen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. It's definitely why it's just went through the roof as far as the technology over these last 3 or 4 years, for sure.
And it's something that can be added to every room. Like you said, 4 of them in your house. I mean, I'm sitting in my office here at my house as we record this, and I'm going, man, that wall could handle an electric fireplace right there. And now I'm no longer stuck thinking about, where am I going to put the chimney? How am I going to vent this? How am I going to... And don't get me wrong, I still like my fireplaces that I have.
Absolutely. And it's not to take away from anything. It's just that alternative, as we're talking about efficiency, is that high efficiency product that can be used. We're seeing a lot of these homes built across the country where the municipalities, the states, and as a country, as a world, we want to try to make everything as high efficient as we possibly can. Our windows, our doors, our seals in our homes, and things like that. And this is just another one of those things where we're not having, like you mentioned, not having to build chimneys and having this hole in our house that just messes with the envelope of a home, or the gas. Maybe that's an area that doesn't have gas available and somebody doesn't want to run gas, but what they can do is use electric. Yeah, so we can just use these, high efficiency electric fireplaces in those applications. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many is I didn't want to run gas lines all up and down the basement and in the back corner coming through my floors. And then it worked out better for me to use electric fireplaces.
For all of you out there who are listening, it really is one of the major manufacturers out there. Another key partner of ours in Napoleon, they've been doing a lot of studies on the mental gains, just the soothing and calming factors of fire.
I saw that.
And so be ready, because we got a bunch of trainings coming for you guys, Randy. It's very, very interesting what they did. But they did the studies around electric fireplaces as well, and discovered that just spending time, and I am gonna hack this, right? I'm going to try and keep it high level, but over a period of time, a person's mental well-being increased to the positive just spending time enjoying quiet around the fire. And I think all of us, I mean, most people who are listening to this podcast, we're all involved and interested in fire in some way. We can all associate some kind of good feeling, good time, good even quiet time around a campfire, a quiet fire, some type of peaceful setting. And that's really what electric gives you the ability to do. That's why I even think about it in my office here, because there are times when it's just quiet. And to be able to look up and be mesmerized for just a minute, just go to a peaceful place. That's what fire does for me, man. So electric makes it easy. You can have it in any room, any space. It's legal in bathrooms. Be careful. You can't put it above bathtubs.
Right. Yeah. Follow the installation manual.
Installation, yes. Let's jump back onto our list we have here. What determines efficiency for electric fireplaces?
So, the wattage of the fireplace itself, the amount of BTU generated, is the amount of heat that is produced out of said fireplace. The heated area, like how much space can it heat, is when we're talking about like determining the efficiency. And then that, it carries into, Mike, the energy consumption of fireplaces. And these are generic numbers based on, a lot of the models that we offer. So going back to what you were talking about, like these glowing things back in the day, that's really, as you know, that's the heating element. Because you can get electric fireplaces just for imagery. But, most of them are going to have this heating element in it that produces heat. So the elements in the electric fireplaces, and all of them are going to fall into that 1500 watts at 120 volts, and possibly have that option to be able to also use that same fireplace at 3000 watts at 240 volts. What that's doing is that all of a sudden will change your range for the heat output, the BTUs. At 1500 watts, 120 volts, that could be up to 5000 BTUs of heat. If you move into something, if you hardwire it for 240 volt, now you might be able to get up to 10,000 BTUs of heat. Now, that being said, not all electric fireplaces are going to have this ability. So you want to ask when you're shopping about the models, if you are trying to get a little bit more heat out of it, because we don't want anybody to assume that you can just do this for everyone, because you cannot. A lot of these are just going to be strictly 120 volt. They plug in, like you mentioned previously, plug into an outlet, maybe up to 5,000 BTUs. Always check the ratings and ask about it, Mike.
So we're talking about efficiency. So we need to talk about heat, and we need to talk about those things. But we're also, when you talk about electric fireplaces, one of the best parts of them and the most efficient piece of it is I can run said electric fireplace without burning any BTUs. I can just turn it on.
Correct. You don't have to have the heat on at all.
Yeah, you don't have to turn the heat on. And it's always interesting to me when I hear people ask that question, and I want to make sure that everyone is aware of that, because I just curse of knowledge, right? I know these things because we train on them and we do these, but some people don't know. When you push the on button, you have options. You don't have to turn the heat on, which means now all of a sudden that fireplace is usable during the summer months. For our friends down south that we are constantly jealous of once Christmas is over. Because let's be honest, we all want a little snow when Christmas gets here. But then once January 1st hits, we're done with it. We're like, okay.
Where's the sunshine? Where's the warm weather?
Exactly. And it's one of the coolest pieces of electric fireplaces is it is a year-round fireplace. And then you can get heat when you want it. So when we talk about heat, Randy, and I don't want to pitch this as if, man, this is gonna take the place of wood burning or take the place of even gas burning, because 10,000 BTUs is okay, but your standard direct vent fireplace is kicking at what, 90,000 BTUs?
Well, direct vents, ideally you can get the direct vents, from 20,000 all the way up into that 60,000 BTU range on gas fireplaces, it's a gas heat. Yeah, when we're talking about heating for electric fireplaces, I guess probably one of the more important things about this is We're not using this as a primary heat source, so to speak. These are, the heating space ranges on these electric fireplaces could be in that 400 to 700 range. It's depending on the room, what kind of air your gaps you're getting out of your windows, your seals around your doors. There's a lot of things like that. The space itself. Really, these are, what I like to express to folks, these are designed, and I don't want to speak for the manufacturers, but for mine, when I use mine, it's to take the chill out of the space. It's to take that chill, that bitter chill, so that I don't have to have my furnace running so high. It's to take the chill out of that space where that fireplace is at. All of mine are in that 5,000 BTU range. I have a couple in the basement, upstairs, and that's how I use them. I'm not using them as my primary heat source. I'm using them just to take that chill out of the spaces.
Well, Randy, I think we've hit a lot of the spots here on energy efficiency with fireplaces. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we call it a wrap here?
If anybody wanted to kind of calculate what it would cost them to run something for 10 hours, electric fireplaces on average use 1 to 1.5 kilowatts of electricity an hour when in use, so they could look at their electric bill, see what they pay per kilowatt hour, and kind of calculate how much it would cost them to run one, just using a round number of 10 hours, kind of get an idea of what, operation costs would be, especially if they're building a full electric house. That might be something that's important to them.
Yeah, no, that's a great bit out there. And I'm assuming, Randy, that is available in the owner's manuals as well?
Correct, yeah. In the information for each of the fireplaces, you'll find the manuals of, what their BTU outputs are, what the wattages are, and then what their kilowatt, per hour is.
All right, brother. Well, if you don't have anything else, as always, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate you spending time with us and talking to our listeners.
No, that's it, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
Join us next time for Electric Patio Heaters, getting the perfect amount of heat. We'll see you then.